Diamonds are forever, forever, forever.
Hi, I'm Peter, and welcome back to Clearing the Lens. In this video, I will be tackling something that has always been on my Bond list. At the beginning of the COVID-19 lockdown, I decided I was going to expand my Bond knowledge by finally reading the original Ian Fleming novels. I had read Casino Royale once before, but have now made my way up through Goldfinger, the 7th book. The focus of this video will be Book 4, Diamonds Are Forever. Both the book and movie versions of Diamonds Are Forever are extremely well known, yet, in my opinion, neither is good. We will explore why. First, however, I will give you a quick rundown of my thoughts on the rest of the series. Most of the books at the beginning of the series are phenomenal, with Casino Royale, Moonraker, From Russia with Love, and Dr. No being highlights. To hear more about From Russia with Love, check out my previous video, From Russia with Love and Neutrality. These 4 books are tense and compelling, yet still offering somewhat of an emotional core, and giving the reader an interesting insight into Bond's psyche and a look at the oddities of his everyday life, including his exercise routine and his extremely specific egg recipe. In fact, the only truly disappointing book was Live and Let Die, which falls flat of its fantastic 1973 film adaptation. I enjoy both the book and film versions of many of these movies, yet none of them are as interesting to explore as Diamonds Are Forever. I enjoyed the book Diamonds Are Forever and actually find the movie quite watchable. However, I will examine them both under an objective lens. The book and movie have some similarities, but are largely different in their characters, plot, and tone. Somehow, neither one succeeds. The book is unfocused and meandering in parts, and the movie, while knowingly campy and silly, often takes these elements too far. Logically, one would assume that both fail based on some shared flaw. That, however, is not true. The few similarities, the focus on diamonds, the presence of some key characters, and the deserty Las Vegas location, are actually the strengths of their respective works. Las Vegas, while giving both a seedy and unattractive feel, works quite well within the context of Diamonds Are Forever, and makes the book and movie unique compared to other, more exotic Bond settings. Bondwoman Tiffany Case and assassins Wint and Kidd are present in both the book and movie, and are some of the most memorable characters in any Bond story. Diamonds, while not something with which the Bond series has a great track record, could be the basis for a fantastic plot. The reasons for these respective failures come from the differences between the stories, not the similarities. Throughout the novel, Ian Fleming frequently goes on tangents exploring things he's encountered on his adventures around the world. When Bond arrives in Las Vegas airport, for instance, there is an extended sequence where he's enthralled by a pure oxygen machine. Fleming himself admits that, "I find technical details of a place like Las Vegas so fascinating that I put them in over-generously. I quite admit to my tendency of overloading my books with Baedeker-ish information." For those who don't know, Baedeker was a popular travel guide in Fleming's time. This is most clear in the lengthy chapters about Saratoga, New York, where Bond encounters a rigged horse race and sees a lot of Saratoga. Little would have been lost by excluding this section, but while researching in the United States, Fleming went to Saratoga, thus explaining its unnecessary inclusion. For me, however, the biggest failing of the book is the ending. Bond spends the majority of the novel trying to discover the true identity of ABC, the head of the smuggling ring. After Bond kills the other half of the villain duo, Serafimo Spain, the book feels as though it is coming to an end. I think that in order to give the rest of the story the time it needs to unfold, ABC and the remaining mystery should have been left for Bond to resolve in a later book. From what I've heard, this was Fleming's original plan, and the book would have ended shortly after Serafimo's death. The publisher was against this, forcing Fleming to write a tacked-on and rushed ending, even ruining the opportunity for reveal of ABC's true identity. I'm not certain this is true, but based off of the book's ending, it makes perfect sense. When Bond arrives back in London, there are only 10 pages remaining. In this short period, he must track down and kill ABC, an impossible task, except for the fact that he is given a memo supplying him with all of the necessary information. Had this been split into 2 books, this part of the story could have been given the justice it deserves, but as is, it is resolved without satisfaction. That being said, the added ending allows for scenes with Bond and Tiffany on the Queen Elizabeth ocean liner. They're some of the most interesting in the entire novel. They discuss marriage and Bond's belief that most marriages don't add 2 people together, they subtract one from the other. To which Tiffany responds, "It depends on what you want to add up to, something human or something inhuman. You can't be complete by yourself." This book also has a refreshing lack of supervillainous schemes. Spang and ABC are selfish and greedy, but wish for nothing more than money. At one point, Bond describes their system as an inelegant trap, obvious and vulgar. If he's discovered, he'll be shot and left in a ditch, which is nice contrast compared to the usual shark tanks and nuclear bombs. Speaking of supervillains, the film Diamonds Are Forever brings back Blofeld. Not part of the book series until the 9th book, Blofeld is part of the movies from the very beginning, with Spectre and Dr. No. With Blofeld comes clones and laser satellites, something much more suited to a flashy Hollywood movie. And, while the Bond films have succeeded many times with their outlandish plots, Diamonds Are Forever goes a bit too far. Even so, many of the set pieces feel toned down, unlike the extravagance of other Bond films. This is likely due to Sean Connery's vastly increased paycheck, which lured him back to the franchise after a one-film hiatus, but comprised of almost half of the film's budget. When the filmmakers started work on the movie, they modeled it largely after the immensely popular Goldfinger, and Sean Connery was key to this. The producers rehired much of Goldfinger's creative team, most notably the director Guy Hamilton and singer Shirley Bassey. Originally, the villain was even set to be Goldfinger's twin brother back for revenge, something even crazier than Blofeld and his clones. While the Bond films find their success in being knowingly tongue-in-cheek and not taking themselves seriously,
shocking.
Diamonds Are Forever took this to extremes, with Mr. Wint actor Bruce Glover saying,
I think the Diamonds Are Forever is the funniest of the Bond films.
Unfortunately, this comedy follows On Her Majesty's Secret Service, one of the most somber Bond films to date. Coming after the death of his wife, it would be expected that this would serve as a revenge film, and that was the original plan, just like Fleming's subsequent novel. Because On Her Majesty's Secret Service was not a hit at the box office, the producers chose to scrap their original follow-up, and Bond's wife Tracy is never mentioned. The final plot is extremely confusing, mostly due to the mind-boggling decision to cut out key scenes involving Bond woman Plenty O'Toole, Mr. Wint, and Mr. Kidd. For some viewers, however, the overall fun tone is enough to make up for the gaping plot holes and convoluted story. Charles Gray's Blofeld, while different to any other portrayal, is a highlight, and Sean Connery's performance is more interested and less tired than in You Only Live Twice. Tiffany Case and Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd are also series highs. Much of this film's mainstream fame comes from its title song, beautifully belted out by Shirley Bassey.
They lost the
Diamonds Are Forever is a well-known book in a popular book series and a famous movie in a spectacularly famous movie series. Despite this, the book is undeniably one of Fleming's duller entries. The opposite is true of 1971's film adaptation, which verges on unbelievability. These extremes serve neither one well, and highlights the difficulty of achieving the balance of Bond. Thanks for watching. Again, I'm Peter from Clearing the Lens. What do you think of the James Bond novels? Let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.